and particularly magpies and crows and jackdaws. Just they're really fascinating, and they're so obviously very intelligent. One time I was feeding some birds, and you could just see how it was actually the corvids. This is the group of many of crows and rooks and jackdaws and magpies, really looking after their offspring much more than other birds. They're very intelligent, and you can really feel that presence from them. Hello, Stephen. And yeah, I just think they're fascinating and beautiful. I don't think they really like being looked at, and I guess it makes sense because actually, well, we're also, of course, very smart. And if a giant bird was staring at us, we'd feel a bit uncomfortable, wouldn't we? So I certainly don't blame them when they fly off if you look at them too much. But they are fascinating and very beautiful and very smart, like us. They can solve puzzles, they can do all sorts of things. So this fold actually is dedicated to Penny. I don't know if Penny will be with us today, but he's just amazing. His family has looked after corvids when she was a child, and so yeah, heard just how long they can live and how much they can be part of a family. Isn't that an amazing thing? So we'll make our own. Possibly, I would recommend doing it smaller. I do find it ends up doing the splits a bit with a bigger one, but smaller it seems to stay together a lot more. Yeah, I guess it's kind of thickness of the paper. I think it's better smaller actually. I brought along as well a skull of a corvid. This is an old one my dad found naturally, natural cause of death, in Greenland. So I don't know exactly what corvid it is, but isn't it a beautiful beak? So sculptural. So just the kind of things they're kicking around here, all sorts of things. Yes. So yeah, so I just chat for a couple of minutes. As always, these films are dedicated to my colleagues at UCH Hospital and encouraging particularly those caring for others to give time for their own self-care. Actually, most of us looking after other people, aren't we? As adults, we really are. I don't think there's anyone. And if we're just looking after ourselves, that is a big task in itself. So I think we're all looking after others, even if that's ourselves. And we do need to give ourselves time for self-care. And origami, Eric, hello, fantastic. Oh, sorry, useless fingers. Watch and enjoy Penny. Just saying, this is dedicated to you, this fold. So inspiring and so beautiful to hear of the care that your family have given. Wendy, to beautiful corvids. So I reckon we should do them smallish rather than biggish, because this fold, it tends to do the splits otherwise, I find, if it's big. I guess you could really try and get that fold at the back a lot sharper, but I find even then, if it's big, it tends to come apart, whereas small, it seems just about right and can sit there. Hello, Jess. Oh, glad you could come along too. Excellent. And you've been doing amazing things with folding from colouring in. Yeah, really beautiful. I hope you'll enjoy this. And actually, birds are the classic things to do. And this bird starts off very much like the traditional crane, and then goes a little bit different for a crow. But I like this shape on its back, which does feel very sort of crow-like, doesn't it? Yeah, so dedicated to those smart birds. So find yourself some paper. I reckon don't use too big a piece of paper, use a small one. So if you have like an origami piece of paper, maybe even just use a quarter of it. It's up to you. But as I said, I think big, it will do the splits. Small, it's a bit better. So yeah, good to have you, Jess. And you'll see it's a lovely, hopefully just a corvid. I know it's really hard not to say COVID, isn't it? It's a bit of an unfortunate thing. Yeah, I find it fascinating. The coronavirus, how much it flipping well crosses species barriers. There've been quite a lot of cats, I think lemurs too, that have caught COVID-19, which is terrible. How can it cross species so much? So let's hope the corvids couldn't possibly get the covids. Well, it'd make a good poem, wouldn't it? Yeah. Excellent. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. So grab yourself a paper. I usually chat for 5 minutes, and then we get folding. So I go slowly as hopefully as usual. And it's great that we've got the chat box because that way you can say, "Can you show that again, Lizzie? What do you mean?" Anything you want to say or that's not clear, then I will do my best to share that way. Hello, Adrienne, as well. I'm going to grab myself a board. I've just got a random little bit of paper, so a bit smaller. So if you've got A4, maybe divide it and then divide it again even. But yeah, whatever little bit of paper you've got. So divide that paper up and we'll take a corner and bring it down. So we're going to make a little square, and hopefully you've all been getting the hang of this. I know some of you have some lovely papers. But I'm assuming that none of us necessarily have origami paper. It's funny because of course I do have origami paper, but I never use it. So I'm always showing how to do it as if you haven't got it. But I do really. So I tend to be terrible on the colours, on which side. Sorry, Penny, which is not good for the origamists, I know, but I hope you'll forgive me. Anyway, it's good to puzzle and learn as you go along. Excellent. So thank you, Alberto. Yeah, I think it's because it's a little bit darker actually. So the lights are looking even stronger and sparkly. It's looking a little bit festive, isn't it? It's like this all year round, honestly. It's just that it's a little bit darker, I think. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Eric. So we're going to remove a rectangle. Wow. That's it. Right, lining up there. And a good strong fold. There we go. Excellent. Honey, I'm glad you enjoyed the Starbucks. Yes, that must be something I should record. Starbucks is such a classic traditional fold. And I don't think I've recorded that yet, which is unbelievable, really. It's something I must do. So that's adding to the festive. There's quite a few festive things. I'm going to have to map out what we're going to fit in. Yeah, I'm still keeping it secret what else we're doing, but the next 2 weeks are planned, and then I'm open to, I think then it just has to be full-on festive folds after that. So I've done one diagonal line, and if we do the other diagonal line as well. So this starts off the same as a crane. I have to say I've adapted how I fold. I do this differently to how I used to, because I found on camera, oh, Wendy. Yes, I will say about that. On camera, it's a bit different. It's harder to show 3 dimensions, so that's why I do it this way. Yes, thank you, Wendy. So last week was World Origami Day, and I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday. I was contacted through Origami Pulse by BBC Radio 5 Live, saying that they'd really like to do something about origami, and I wondered if I could teach a piece of origami on the radio. Which is, oh, Eric, yes, exactly. You can listen to it though. Maybe after this video goes on, I could see if I can look up a link, but I think you have to be on iPlayer to see it. Yeah, I'll have a think about that, Eric, but it's definitely possible for you to listen. It was way too late, yes. So it was on Thursday, sometime after 11:30 p.m. So my head had to still work, and trying to explain origami without seeing anything is very, very hard. And I was testing out on various people, had a couple of ideas, but in the end thought actually the traditional cup, which is the simplest fold I know, but I thought it'd be great fun because you can fold it and then try drinking from it. And they were absolutely amazed that you could possibly drink from a piece of paper. We're genuinely excited about it. Yes. So that's right. Yes, you can listen to it, Eric, that way. So actually last Thursday, if you look up Colin Murray, and it was, yeah. Anyway, I'll look it up and I'll try and put it in the sort of text below this this live fold if I add to that bit later on. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But it was really fun. I was laughing an awful lot. I just found it all quite amusing, particularly because you could see behind the scenes of the radio, which was great fun. And it was Colin really got into the into the joy of it all. It was like, yeah, we were like little kids. It was brilliant. So we folded both diagonal lines, and now if you turn it over, brilliant, excellent. So we're going to do a horizontal and a vertical. I think maybe it was at least 15 minutes that I was on, and yeah, just really responding to whatever he asked. There's so many things he could say, but to be honest, actually just having great fun, I think, is what origami, well, for me, is what it's all about, and what I use sessions for. So it illustrated very well, actually, the well-being aspect, having a bit of a love. So anyway, sorry, we did the diagonals, turned it over, and do the horizontal and the vertical. There we go. But yeah, I was pleased how it went, because you really can't tell what's going to happen, whether it's going to work. It was very hard to get to sleep after that. I was so buzzed up. There we go. So it's curving upwards. Hopefully it's curving up. If it's a triangle, pop your finger underneath the middle, push it up, and it will turn into this shape. So you should be able to gather all the bits. Just to show, I'm sure it will be in this position for you, but if it wasn't, if it was this position, then turn it upside down, push underneath the middle, pop. And again, you can fold all the pieces to the middle, but hopefully you didn't have that situation. So it should be all the open bits at the top there. That's it. Right. So make sure the open bits at the top, we're going to take the diagonal line and bring it to the vertical line, like so. It's a bit tricky in the camera. So I'm going to do that down there, but it's no harm in taking up our time, because that's what I want you to do as well. So taking the outside line and bringing it to the middle, and then the same with the other side. So we will in a moment have the back to do as well. This is like the crane, and actually I was just having a quick practice, and it is much easier on the fingers when it's smaller, these bird folds. Actually, it's a very tricky move when it's bigger, but it's not so difficult when it's smaller. Hopefully you'll find it fine. So turning to the back now, and again, do shout if anything's unclear, you need me to show anything again. Again, the diagonal side, I'm bringing it to the vertical line. Okay, and I think I need to press down. Yeah, it's surprising it's so dark, because actually it's sunny outside, but I think it's just the light level starts to drop quite early now. It'll get darker and darker for bits, but that's why we get all festive, just to distract from the lack of light, I think. Okay, so hopefully it's looking like this. Next move is you got this lower bit, push that up. And again, actually, if you find with any of this that you get lost, you want to go back, then obviously this will be recorded. You'll be able to look back at that. And I've also made a video as well, so you'll definitely be able to do it. Okay, so I folded it up, fold it down again. So first step is to open up, like you're opening a present. And you're going to take that top layer, and I guess I'm holding on to that triangle at the bottom, and I'm pushing this down, and I'm rolling in the top, and rolling in the bottom as well. So the top should fold in easily. The bottom is always a bit trickier. We're changing the directions and squashing that down. Again, oh, that doesn't look accurate, so I might see what I'm doing. Yeah. A month or so ago, I did actually some demonstration in a primary school, and I haven't done that for quite a while. In fact, I've never done any origami in a primary school. It was quite interesting, because trying to show the class, actually the best thing is a big piece of paper and you're holding it out and you can't see at all what you're doing. Whereas here, I can at least see what I'm folding. But you can just about see through the paper a tiny bit to get a clue that you're in the right position. I don't know whether that's what people have done in the past, whether they fold in that way to show a group, but it's a good way of testing whether you really know what you're doing. Okay, so we've done one side, turn to the back. Again, holding that bottom bit, opening up the flaps, opening up that present, top layer, And again, for those of you who know all of this, it's just lovely to do something so familiar, and it's always enjoyable and interesting, isn't it? Again, folding the top will go in easily. Bottom, you have to a little bit play around with your fingers in there, get rid of any wrinkles. You're just effectively reversing those folds. And again, I think I need to look to do this well. It'd be interesting doing a giant crane without looking what you're doing. Really, I'm setting myself all sorts of challenges now. It's this concentration that's what's so absorbing about it. And I'm the same too. You can never fully switch off, I don't think, with origami. There we go. So it should be looking like this. Is it looking like that for you? So there's one end that's kind of leggy, another end that's kind of wingy. That's it. Right. So what next? Right, I think I'm going to put the legs at the bottom. That feels more appropriate. And they will become legs, actually. And actually the one behind, so you've got two flaps, two wings. The flap behind, bring down. So that one, bringing it down. There we go. Happy? That's it. So next we're going to make the legs. So to make the legs, we're going to pick up one and we're going to bring it out at an angle. That sort of height is, again, it's a bit of a guesstimate. But that sort of thing, I seem to remember. Excellent, the bird base. Yeah, I don't know why I've always struggled with the whole base thing. I mean, I know they all start off in the same way, and I know you need to give them names, but I don't know why. Base just makes me think as if I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I think it does make complete sense. Though. Funny, isn't it? There we go, something like that. So I guess it is a bird doing the splits at the moment. Great. So our next step is to close it inwards. So closing inwards. So you've got your legs there and they need to go down. Can you see it's already becoming a bird? So it was that area we'd folded those up. The tail's down at the back. Folding it inwards. Closing it up. Legs akimbo indeed. Hopefully not that. We could add the head already. So to do the head, I tend to put my finger sort of in the middle, gently push down, and then squeeze at the side, like so. There we go. Right. The feet are the things which keep giving me problems. So any tips from any of you as to what's the best way of doing it would be much appreciated. I've done a few different variations. At the moment, the legs are too long and they're at the wrong angle. The feet do need to come sort of horizontal. So at the moment, it's not going to stand up. So a few ways of doing this. The way that I found for myself has been better is almost just a little side wiggle tuck. And I know you can sort of invert it and push it in as well, but didn't look that great for me. So I ended up feeling that sort of looks better, actually. I don't know what you feel about that. You will all be much more experienced on the birds and animals. Birds and animals, not things that I tend to fold quite so much myself. So how to do that? So I've just taken the foot and I guess I've just swizzled it up and tucked that sort of behind. So it's the right sort of an angle, a little tuck. But if you have a better way of doing that, I'm sure there will be. But I thought actually the shape looks quite good for the foot. And obviously the same thing on the other side. So I guess I know it's a bit hard to see, picking that up and tucking it, just doing a little fold back at an angle, just a little bit to match. And you could sort of tuck it inside if you wanted, but it didn't look quite so good for me that way. I kind of preferred that. Let's see. Yay! Now it's like I just fell over like that. Okay, are you going to be a living or a dead bird? I hope it's going to be alive. There we go. But it might suddenly fall over its legs up in the air. Feels like the dead parrot sketch, doesn't it? It's got to squish down and seems to be working. Whatever works for you. You know what? I think that's the fun side of animals. That I think that it's those little distinct ways that you find a fold that works for you that will make it more unique and more, yeah, which is, I think, the good thing of the animal sort of folds. I hope that's worked for you. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? So from what I understand, a traditional, and you can see it's a modified crane really, which is quite nice, but it does have a real crow feel to it, and they are beautiful birds. So next time look, but don't look for too long because they won't like it. So back next week again at 2. I hope it's good. It's sort of 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. Time out. Yay, I'm glad it worked, Penny. Yeah, these beautiful birds. It's got such a nice feel, hasn't it, to it? So I hope you all keep well and keep looking after yourselves, keep being kind and keep doing nice creative things that will make you smile and will make others smile. You're very welcome, Alberto. Best wishes to you all. So have a good week. Take care and see you next week if you're free. Bye. Hope it works. Bye-bye.